Now we're doing freeCodeCamp, JavaScript algorithms and data structures, intermediate algorithm scripting, arguments optional. All right. So we're going to create a function that sums two arguments together. If only one argument is provided, then we're going to return a function that expects one argument and returns the sum. So for example, if we do add together 2 and 3 as the arguments, with 2 and 3 as the arguments, it should return 5. And then if we do add together 2, which is one argument, it should return a function. So calling this return function with a single argument will then be returned, will then return the sum, var sum 2 and then it'll have add together with the 2. It'll have this thing right here. This is really confusing, isn't it? And then sum 2 and 3 will return 5. So this will turn into a function call. This will turn into a thing that we can call, and we will put 3 in it, and it'll return 5. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it in a second. So if either argument isn't a valid number, then we're going to return undefined. All right. So first things first, we got to deal with the fact that there are no arguments in here, but it's going to be expecting arguments. All right. So let's come down here, and we're going to let this thing, this array A comma B equal arguments. All right. Now we're looking at that like, well, anyway, that being said, this right here, this is destructuring assignment syntax, which is a JavaScript expression that makes it possible to unpack values from arrays or properties from objects into distinct variables, right? So this is basically, I mean, we've talked about this before. So basically whatever's in here is, those are going to be the arguments, and we're going to assign whatever the first one is to A, and the second one is going to be B, all right? And arguments here, this isn't like just like a variable or anything. This is a specific keyword, right? And it's called the arguments object, which is an array-like object accessible inside functions that contains the values of the arguments passed into the function, right? So this is the actual arguments right here, right? So whatever the arguments are, it's going to be A and B. So this is that's basically how this is going to work, all right? So the first thing we're going to do, well, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to do this thing where it returns a function like sum 2 and whatever, right? So we'll just say function. We'll say right here function, and we'll call it missing argument. And it doesn't really matter what we say it is, but we're going to have that with this right here, and then for the argument we're going to put B in there, right? Just in case it's not there. And then we're going to have the curly braces like this, and we're going to return add together A comma B, all right? So basically this thing's going to, if it's missing the B, it's going to just, it's going to ask to get a B, and then it's going to go through and redo it again as if there was a B in the first place, all right? And then we're going to come down here, and the other thing it says, it has to be a valid number. So we got to check. So we got to check to see if the thing's a number or not. Because if this is like tomato and this is like empty string or a true, we're just going to have to return undefined, all right? So to do that, we're going to say if, and then we'll do type of, all right? If type of A equals a number, and we got to also check if B is a number. So we'll see if A is a number first, and if type of B equals a number, what we're going to do for this B one, what we're going to do for this B one is we'll return A plus B. And if the B doesn't pass, but there still is an A and it's still a number, we're just going to say if arguments dot length equals 1. All right. So if there is an A and it is a number, but there is no B, all right, and it's not like B's undefined, it has to be a number. So like, anyway, I'll get into that in a second. So let's just finish this part up and then we'll say return missing, what is this? Missing argument. We'll return missing argument. All right. And so let's go through this, right? So with this, give me a second. So with this, it's going to go, okay, so it's going to come in, see if type A is a number, right? If it is, then it's going to see if type B is a number. If it is, then it's going to add A to B, all right? So if this isn't a number, it's going to check to see if this is just one thing. Because if the length is 2, that means it's not only not a number, but it's not even going to pass, right? It's like it's not nothing. What am I trying to say? Like B's not nothing. Okay, let's come down here. Like let's say it gives us string 3 instead of 3, like this. Like that. And let's just do a console.log on this also while we're at it. Console.log undefined, right? Because string 3 is not a number, and so it can't even be added to it. So this is just going to bounce out, and then this is going to bounce out too, because there are actually 2 things in it and not just one. All right. And then it'll just return undefined. So that's basically how this thing works. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just so confusing. You know, it's anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's run the tests. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to make a person, and we'll see you next time.